Hello again. In this video, I'm going to go over Objective 3 from R1, which is about the union and intersection of sets. So let's talk about the union of sets, and then we'll talk about the intersection. And those are the two most common ways of combining two sets, by the way. So let's say you have two sets. One's called A and the other's called B, and you want to form the union of the two sets. Well, the way we denote that is with this U symbol. So this is A union B. And it's the set of elements that belong to set A or to set B or to both sets A and B. And so this is a diagram of what that union means. If this is set A and this is set B, then the union A union B would be all the elements in A or all the elements in B or all the elements in both A and B, which would be the elements in here. So the union would be all of this shaded in region. Now the intersection is different. A intersect B is denoted with this upside down U symbol, and it's the set of elements common to both set A and set B. Okay, so if this is the set, the elements of set A are here and the elements of set B are here, A intersect B would be the elements that are common to both A and B, which would be the elements in this shaded region. That's what we mean by A intersect B. Okay, so let's look at example 3 here. So here we're given 3 different sets, and we are supposed to find, first of all, A intersect B. Now remember, this means all the elements that are common to both set A and set B. So if you look at these two sets, what elements do they have in common? Well, it appears that they only have one element in common, -5, and so A intersect B would be the set -5. Okay, what about A union B? So A union B would be all the elements in A, or the elements in B, or the elements in both A and B. So if you look at these two sets, -5 is in A, -3 is in A, -1 is in A, and 1 is in A. So those are certainly in the union. -5 is in B, so that's in the union. 0 is in the union, and 5 is in the union. And any of the elements that happen to be in common are also in the union, which happens to be -5. But that was already included because it was in set B and set A anyway. So in terms of the union, it's simply all 4 of these elements and these 3 elements also. Okay, so in terms of writing it in terms of a set, it would be the set of all those elements. It's actually 6 elements because you don't have to write the -5 twice. So it's -5, -3, -1, 0, 1, and 5. And even though -5 appears in both sets, you only really need to write it down once. Okay, and now A intersect C. So this set and this set. So what do they have in common? Well, see, -5, no. -3, no. -1, no. 1, no. So it looks like they have nothing in common. So that would be the empty set. And so one way of denoting the empty set is to write it like that. But you can also use a 0 with a line through it. Okay, so let's look at example 4. So we're given 3 different sets, D, E, and F, and we're supposed to find D intersect E first. Now probably what you want to do here is draw a number line out. It will help you to see where the intersection is. So this is D is the set of all x values such that x is less than 4, which on the number line would look like this. All right, these shade in all the numbers below 4, not including 4. So that's a parentheses. All right. Now set E, it's a set of all x values such that x is greater than or equal to -2. So shade in everything above 2, but it also includes -2, so this has a brackets. And now we want the intersection of those two sets, so you just need to see where these overlap. And so if you sort of push these together on top of each other, you can see where they overlap. They begin to overlap at -2, and -2 is included here and here, so it's going to be included in the intersection. So that's going to be a brackets. And then you can see that they overlap all the way up until you get to 4. But 4 is not in this set up here. It's not included. And so it's not included in the overlap. It's not in common with both. And so it's not included in the intersection. So this should be a parentheses. Okay, so that's D intersect E. All right, D union E. Okay, so that's D and that's E. Now we want to know all the elements in D or the elements in E or in both. Okay, well, these are all the elements in D, so everything below 4. Plus all the elements in E, which would be all the elements starting at -2 and above. Well, that's everything. So D union E is the set of all real numbers, which you can denote with this capital R. And in terms of interval notation, it's -infinity to infinity. By the way, the one up here, you can also write in interval notation. We found out where the overlap was on the graph, but if you want to write that in interval notation, you would include -2, so that would have a brackets, and then you would stop at 4, but not including 4, so that would have a parentheses. Okay, C is D union F. Okay, so we already know what D looks like. F is the set of all x values such that x is less than or equal to -3. So that's everything below -3, including -3, so that we get a brackets. And we want the union of those two sets. So everything below 4 plus everything below -3, including -3. Well, that's the same thing as just saying everything below -4. And in terms of interval notation, it would be from -infinity up to 4, not including 4. In set notation, you could just write it as all the x values such that x is less than 4. Okay, D, we want E intersect F. So E is all the numbers from -2 and above, and F are all the numbers from -3 below. And we want the intersection of those two sets. So if you draw this out on the same number line, you want to see where they overlap. So -2 and above would be all the numbers here. -3 and below would be all the numbers here. And you can see that those do not overlap. And so it would be the empty set. Okay, so you may want to practice this. If you do, you can look at this skill practice number 4. And then they have the answers below it, so you can check and see if you're correct. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.